Is there a point to wearing blue blockers during the day? What is the big problem with turning on overhead lights before sunrise? And lastly, what is the whole deal with cellular hydration and cellular water? Is it just what you drink or is there more to it? Carrie and I discussed all of this and so much more today over on Instagram, and I wanted to share that live stream here with you on YouTube. So that is what I'm sharing here with you today. You're going to hear us ask people to comment the word summit below the video. So just ignore that. I have those links pinned up in the pinned comment for you. And we are offering a VIP private Q&A next week on Tuesday for anybody who goes ahead and gets that upgrade package that we talk about here. It's $99. It's going to give you $2,000 worth of courses and the recordings from our summit. Day 7, the day that I'm posting this on YouTube, is still going on. So you can still get that free package as well as a free trial to my circadian app along with that free package. So there's something for everyone here in this chat, and I really hope you enjoy it. Make sure to leave us a like or a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.
There she is.
Hi there. Did you say cold?
It is cold. Well, to me, like cold is in the 50s.
Oh yeah.
But we've been having like 70, 80 degree days. And so I've been spoiled. I've been sunbathing, and now we're not doing that today.
Yeah. I know, but now take advantage of the cold, right? It's good to get that brown adipose tissue firing.
I was out there barefoot this morning at sunrise. So, yep. And then I did my red light therapy right after our talk with Glenn this week. Yeah. So
cool. Yeah. If you're not following that Quantum Conversations podcast this week, is it this week that Glenn's talk is coming out?
This week we have part 1 with Glenn, which was
Great.
that was so much fun. I think people are really going to love that episode. I hope we can give it a good title that people will actually watch it, but it was so good.
I know. So Glenn is a researcher who's actually doing the research that we want to see on light. And he's just a lovely person. He was so fun to chat with. So
yeah, he's the one really showing the impact of metabolism and red light, metabolism and blue light, and healing and mitochondria. Just so much really interesting stuff. So that episode will be out actually tomorrow. Part 1 will be out tomorrow.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah. So make sure you go to my bio and Carrie's bio too. I think there's a Quantum Conversations podcast link.
Yep.
So you don't miss it. But yeah, that's one of the things we talked about in that podcast is and I've always said just do red light therapy as long as the sun is up, because I've always seen it be tremendously beneficial.
Yeah.
And I know you probably talk about that with Mike in the summit chat today.
Yeah.
But Glenn was just talking about how they've seen so much more benefit to mitochondria when that red light therapy is more earlier in the day, which was really interesting.
Yeah, that was fascinating. And that was really specific to, not specific, but it was especially for eye health. And so if maybe you've been trying red light therapy for eye health, let's say macular degeneration or glaucoma or things like that, and myopia. He was talking a lot about myopia too. And he had people do it in the morning versus other times during the day. The only group that saw benefit, and they saw great benefit, was when they had that red light therapy session in the morning.
Yeah. So,
and what was fascinating was that sometimes it was like one eye. He was having it wasn't necessarily, it's almost like you just needed to get the stimulus. It was so interesting.
Yeah. That's a really fun episode. That'll be out tomorrow. So make sure you check it out. And we wanted to hop on live because today is our day 7 of our summit. We want to talk about some takeaways we had. And Carrie and I just made a decision, I don't know, about 30 minutes ago.
Yep.
that anybody who gets the VIP package, so if you want the links, just comment summit below this video. We'll send you the free link and the VIP link. But anybody who gets the VIP link, we're going to have a private Q&A with those people next week on Tuesday. And you'll have the opportunity to submit questions. We've just created the little group where you can post your questions. So if you can't be there live, we'll do a 90-minute Q&A private with those people. And then we'll send out the recording to anybody who is in that group as well. So with that VIP package, you'll get all the recordings from the 7 days of our summit. Day 7 is today. So there's still the free talks today with
great talks.
Very good. Like, I think today was one of my favorite days with Zaid, Dr. Mike Belkowski on red light therapy. and methylene blue, which is really a fascinating topic. And then Matteo with Axiom, the hydrogen warrior, talking about the impact of hydrogen on cellular health, and how a lot of, just kind of going along with our message that a lot of ill health, disease, all these things start at the level of the cell. And that's what we're really trying to support with these things like light and grounding and nervous system support. So there's so much in there for people.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sarah, I just got my Axiom machine this morning.
Oh, yay!
I've been using their tablets for quite some time, and I love them. But I got it, so I did inhalation this morning. I bubbled some of it into, and I tested. Listen, it comes with a meter. I already had my own hydrogen meter, and do you get readings like my reading? I pulled the meter out at 2.3.
Yeah, yep. I always get it above a 2.0 with that water, and it stays saturated like that for 24 hours.
That's great.
So I make a big, huge jug of it in the morning for the family. It's my quote unquote special brew. And then I test it 24 hours later and it's still fully saturated. So that's
awesome. Yeah. It's super exciting. And let's throw this in for people who purchase the VIP. Isn't Axiom offering a giveaway, right? For those who purchase the VIP?
Yes, they are. There's an Axiom giveaway in the VIP. So the VIP, so comment Summit, if you want the link, you can still watch the free talks today, again, with Zaid, with Matteo, and with Dr. Belkowski. But the people who get the VIP package, we're going to give you a Q&A with me and Carrie on Tuesday, but you're also entered to win a raffle. And the winners of the raffle will get all my courses, all Carrie's courses, and then a gift package from Axiom as well. And that is all on the Summit upgrade page, all the details. So it's just like a really big deal.
Comment Summit. Yeah. It's sweet. Comment Summit for if you want a link sent to you for that, to sign up for that. So really quick, because there's a question here, interesting, right? I thought you had to protect your eyes when using red light. And I mean, those red light therapy companies, I think they're required to send the goggles, but actually red light therapy is, if you get high quality red light therapy device, it is really therapeutic for the eyes. And so I personally don't use it. And the only time I recommend people use the goggles is if they're having a visceral response to the brightness. It's like the brightness of that red is just too jarring for them at first to get used to, which some people who have not really had outside light exposure, that can be a very bright light. But otherwise, I think that it can be, high quality red light therapy products can be used very, very beautifully to help with the eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. There are specific wavelengths, and we talk about that in the podcast with Glenn that comes out tomorrow. There are specific wavelengths that have actually been shown to heal myopia and reverse degeneration that happens with the eye. And so it's really fascinating information.
Yeah, super fascinating information. So these are the fun types of questions that Sarah and I are looking forward to fielding also at that live Q&A that we're hosting. So that'll be on Tuesday. So if you get the Summit VIP upgrade, that'll be very fun. Those are so fun to kind of almost rapid fire and answer a lot of questions. So obviously the Summit ends today. So you got to grab that VIP package if you want to get that. But otherwise, listen to these free talks just today. It's just worth it to get the free talks today. So Sarah, some of my take homes from the whole entire summit, but I'll start with today's would be Zaid talks so beautifully about melatonin, right? And about the many ways in which melatonin's been overlooked. Let's just kind of go in that. Melatonin, I think, is just assumed that it just puts us to sleep and keeps us asleep, or puts us to sleep. But it does actually, I would say that's almost the secondary effect of melatonin. I would say, yes, it's needed to help signal onset of darkness and sleep, absolutely. But the reason we harp on light exposures at night and minimizing the artificial light at night so much is because that melatonin runs massive repair programs that are anti-cancer, anti-autoimmune. So it's we want to maximize the pineal production of melatonin at night to be able to have our body just endogenously run these repair programs every night when we're sleeping.
Yeah, and I think that's why, people are like, oh, blue light and cancer, blue light and obesity, blue light and diabetes, whatever. Not only is there research that Glenn's doing to actually show how this impacts us on a cellular level, impacts blood sugar, insulin, glucose, but this really is an issue because we're supposed to make this pineal melatonin at night when we sleep, and that's disrupting that whole process. And so, yeah, I really think Zaid has a great way of explaining it simply for people, because I think a lot of people, they just look at the blue light people and they're like, okay, whatever, you know, and there's this whole group of people on Instagram now that, you know, I don't wear blue blockers. I've got my window open, my screen's red, so I'm okay to not wear blue blockers. You always do, because you can't open your window now, because I know you got some
We've had critters.
critters were getting in your office. So it is important to protect your eyes if you're going to be on your screen during the day, especially unprotected blue light, you know, no window to balance that out. But there are some people that kind of go and troll on these Instagram posts with people that are talking with blue blockers on. They're like, oh, the people with the orange glasses, those people, I can't believe anything they say. And I'm like, okay, you don't understand.
If it doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. I mean, move along. It's okay. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't, you know, and frankly, to be completely honest, this is a much newer thing because of our overexposure to LEDs. You know, 30 years ago with incandescent bulbs, I didn't have a cell phone. Right. I mean, I was barely using a computer in the same, it would have been completely different. Right. But these days, it's just, I think, smart to stay up on the fact that now there is a massive amount of research indicating that this blue light, especially at night, can have consequences if we don't pay attention to our exposures. So I'm happy. It's no skin off my back. I really find it soothing when I put on my orange blue blockers. And I've had so many people say the same thing. It's like all of a sudden, it's like their nervous system goes, it's like, it's nighttime. Okay, I can kind of tone it down. I can start to run different programs in there. And so, yeah, that melatonin really gets kicked up when you start to block that artificial light at night.
Yeah, I mean, it took my husband like 5 years to start wearing blue blockers, and it was only because his eyes started to go. Like, he started not being able to read stuff across the room, and I'm like, you got to start wearing the blue blockers, dude. Like, I'm not just wearing these because they're cute. I'm wearing them because my eyes started doing funky things a few years ago, and I'm like, all right. And within 3 months of me wearing the blue blockers, my eyesight actually improved. Like, I was shocked. And he's now finally starting to see some improvements with his eyesight. He does a red light therapy also. But with the blue blockers, he says the same thing. He puts the blue blockers on and he's like, oh, wow. I feel so much more calm. And so they're not just, you know, they're not just for show. So.
Sure. Really quick questions on here. Explain reason why not to turn on bright lights prior to sunrise. The light bulbs these days have what's called a blue dominant spike. So you could look up something called a spectral readout, or a spectral, like basically the blend of colors. There's these devices that will show the blend of colors coming from light, whether it's the sun or a candle or a screen. And when you do that to a phone screen or a light bulb, you'll see a very big spike of blue. So blue then becomes the dominant wavelength there. And the other colors are just not as balanced, and they're not even close to being at the same height, so the same amount or intensity. And so the only time in nature when blue is the dominant wavelength is the middle of the afternoon, right? When the sun's at the high point in the sky. So essentially, if we go from a period of restoration and sleep, and all of a sudden we wake up and we have this shock of blue being the dominant signal, it kind of fast forwards our body into thinking that it's the middle of the afternoon. And Sarah and I talked so much about all of the beautiful transitions and signals that we acquire during the morning light exposures. And so really don't recommend you going straight from your body being asleep to thinking it's the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to make cortisol, right, in order to correspond with that. And the reason why Carrie's wearing blue blocking glasses during the day is that, again, it's an unnatural amount of blue coming from indoor lighting, and it's just protection for the eyes. And Carrie doesn't wear those all day long. No. Carrie's going outside, taking breaks to reset her circadian rhythm, touching the earth. We have a whole talk with Dr. Laura Conover on grounding in our summit. And so you're grounding, you're getting natural signals from sunlight, because the amount of blue light, as you said, it changes throughout the day. And it's also balanced with red and infrared, which are really, really important light signals and frequencies for the eyes, for the mitochondria, for our metabolism. So there's, you know, we as humans think that we're so brilliant just like we do with like popping all these different exogenous supplements, we try to do the same thing with light unknowingly in our environment and end up creating issues with cortisol, insulin, blood sugar, because insulin and blood sugar can go up with blue light exposure. And that's, again, we talked with Glenn Jeffrey about that. He's doing research in a laboratory to show that unequivocally these blue light is causing blood sugar, cortisol, insulin spikes in people, and that's without even eating food. So
yeah. So this actually then the converse side of it, which again, listen to the podcast. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the Quantum Conversations podcast. It's coming out. This episode, part 1, is coming out tomorrow with Glenn. And this also ties into Mike's talk on red light therapy. So Glenn is using red light therapeutically, and he's showing in human populations, both in people with quote unquote normal blood sugar regulation and in diabetic populations, that you can pre-treat someone with red light, and then you can give them an awful amount of glucose, like a glucose tolerance test, and you can see that their blood glucose will not elevate to the same extent, meaning you make your mitochondria more efficient at using energy, and so they don't it doesn't stay elevated in your bloodstream. This is really game-changing information for people. And so I think it's an important topic for people to be aware of. And so Mike's talk today talks a lot about red light therapy. We have also found, and his company I've also found clinically, that in people who can tolerate methylene blue well, you can actually get a synergistic effect in terms of supporting the mitochondria with the combination of red light and methylene blue. And again, Mike talks all about that.
Yeah. So if you want today, again, we have the free talks with Zaid, Dr. Belkowski, as well as Mateo of the Hydrogen Warrior. Just comment Summit, and then the upgrade package. Again, you can get that. That's going to include a Q&A with me and Carrie on Tuesday, and then about $2,000 worth of courses that were gifted from Summit speakers. Just a really amazing package that I'm super excited about for people to get that. So just comment Summit if you want me to send you the link to that, and we will. Someone had a question I just saw that rolled in about more about daylight exposure with the glass. Did you see that one? Is daylight blocking recommendation due to indoor aspect of screen use aspect, or would you do it if working on a screen but outdoors in front of an open window?
No. Listen, it's so funny because I feel like almost like Clark Kent, because I literally just wear these in my office setting. My phone screen, when I can actually, my phone screen in the evenings, it goes really dark red. I mean, so like literally this is when I'm in front of my computer, because I can't open windows, and these windows are new. They're the energy efficient ones. So I'm not getting anywhere near a natural spectrum here. But as soon as I go, if I'm working outside, if I'm doing things outside, these are on top of my head or they're put away completely. When I'm driving in the car to pick up my kids. Now I will wear these when driving in the morning, because the car headlights are just awful, right? And I feel safe driving in yellow, and I mitigate some of it. But like after this, I'm going to go pick up my kids, and like the people at school don't really know me as this. It's like I'm like this kind of Clark Kent person here, and then at school I don't have them on because I'm outside. Right. I'm in the parking lot. I'm waiting for my kids. Or I'm doing playground supervision. I choose to volunteer with the outside activities, and it's different. So if you're exposed to natural light, whether it's through a screen, open window, and there's a screen, complete open window, or you're outside, don't block it. Get that signal in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with this computer down here, it's on Iris, and so it's funny. I took a picture of it to send to someone the other day of like something that was on my screen, and I'm just so used to my screen on my computer with Iris turned up to red. I'm like, oh wow, I don't think they can read that. My eyes are so adjusted to it,
right?
And I have my window open. And I'll take my laptop and work outside as often as I possibly can. I try to never have like a lot of unfiltered blue light just coming straight at me, even during the day, because I know some people are like, oh, blue light's not an issue during the day, but there's unequivocal research to show that unopposed blue light, it does have an impact on your body metabolically. Yes. It does have an impact on your eyes. And so we try to act like everything is safe and fine, or safe and effective.
Right.
But look deeper,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have had people who work in the type of environment where they don't get any natural light exposure during the day. Think about like big box grocery stores or places like that, like a Target, right? And they noticed a big difference in symptoms. One of them had severe headaches. Another one had severe blood sugar issues by wearing the yellows in an environment like that. It makes perfect sense, right? That even though they were working during the day,
Yep.
they were being exposed to, like you said, unopposed blue light, that really blue dominant signal that does just, from a most basic perspective, does create metabolic chaos, right? Because it's the thing about blue light during the day is that if we were getting exposed to it from a natural setting, like outside, it's
Yeah.
changing all day long. It's changing in amount and intensity. So yes, it's dominant in the middle of the day, but still it's dominant like this and it's changing. And it's the changing blue light that really tells time. And so that's something that all of our cells can sync up to. So yeah, so in that type of an environment where maybe you're working during the day or it's blue but it's blue dominant light that doesn't change, the yellow tone blue blockers can go a long way towards being supportive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the takeaway message with the yellow blue blockers is you take breaks to see natural light, because we need a little bit of blue
Totally.
during the day. Our eyes need it, our bodies need it, our hormones need it, all these different processes in our body need it, and it's super important to get natural signals as often as we can.
Yes.
There was a
Agreed.
question in there about grounding, and just anybody who's just jumping on, Carrie and I are doing a private Q&A for anybody who upgrades to our VIP, which if you comment Summit, we'll send you a link to that and get all the information for it. You're going to get a ton of other stuff with that, but we just decided today that we would do a private Q&A with people who have the VIP package. So be on the lookout for in your email for information on how you'll access that and all that stuff. But someone wants to know about grounding during the day, and I just wrote an article on this about grounding in the winter time, because there's indoor sources of things that you can ground with running your hands under running water.
Bathtub. My bathtub is my indoor winter grounding. People don't
Yeah.
realize that plumbing, right? Plumbing, at least by building code in the United States, plumbing has to be grounded, right? It has to, so that way, in case there's a lightning strike, right, it grounds it into the earth.
Yeah.
And so if you have a continuity meter, like Sarah's tested, I know you've tested, I've tested a ton.
Tested everything in my house.
You literally doing the dishes, the water that's flowed through the pipe, because water is a conductor of that beautiful earth energy. The water that flows through the pipes is in contact with the energy from the earth. So the pipe connects to the earth, the water flows through the pipe, the water conducts earth's energy. So if you're doing dishes, sitting in a bath, just washing your hands.
Yeah. And my basement floor is grounded.
That's cool.
And
That's cool.
The bathroom down there has travertine tile that's grounded too. So if it's super cold and I really don't feel like going outside, I can just go lay on my basement floor, which I actually do sometimes in the winter when I'm like super overstimulated by my kids. On the weekends, I'm like, I gotta go downstairs and get some things from the basement, and then I'll just sit on the floor like
40 minutes later. Okay, I'm ready. I can go back.
Sorry. I've just been rocking myself on the basement floor. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, people will be surprised. I've had clients that have concrete balconies. They live on on the 10th floor, and they've tested with a conductivity meter. So it's important to test to see. But people that are on these balconies are grounded, or on top of their roof, they're grounded. So there's all kinds of things. And I just did an article on this in my newsletter. And now I have a new feature in the My Circadian app, that if you get a free trial of the My Circadian app with even the free version of the Summit, but I have a little stories feature in the My Circadian app, and I've been putting articles in the little stories. And so if you have the My Circadian app, you can go to the stories right now, and my grounding article is linked in there for you. So yeah, as we keep on like developing the Circadian app, my goal is to kind of get articles and things like that from my ambassadors, because Carrie's an ambassador. I've got some super amazing ambassadors. So we'll be putting like free ebooks and free articles, kind of loading that into the stories feature of the My Circadian app. So we're always providing education and resources for people.
Very cool. I love that. I love that. Okay, so for people who are just listening, that's a reason alone to get to link up with the summit, right? To get access to the summit, to register today, even for the free version of the summit. And remember, there's 3 talks today, and I don't want to skip Mateo, because honestly, yes, molecular hydrogen is a supplement, but I think Sarah and I think it's safe for us to say that it's probably one of the most effective supplements that we've ever seen.
I mean, it's been life-changing for my family, honestly. Like, I've spoken about it on my podcast before, but it has really been life-changing for us, because we were facing a point with my daughter where we were told she has to get IVIG. She has to get these immunotherapy treatments that are $40,000 per treatment. Oh, and by the way, insurance has knocked us down 3 times and has basically said, sorry, no, not doing it. And then these treatments are not all people have a good response to them. There's dangers and there's side effects to this immunotherapy. And so that's when I started studying molecular hydrogen earlier this year. Yeah. And within a week of us implementing molecular hydrogen, the behaviors that she was having, these like violent, aggressive rage behaviors that were connected to her being sick, stopped. And
essentially brain inflammation triggering this. Yeah.
We had 2 spinal taps, MRIs, EEGs, like this. We put her through everything, because we were going through it. She was very sick, very sick, all kinds of diagnoses, that I never told her, because I believe that we imprint these things into ourselves. So I didn't want her to do that, but it was very scary. And so that's what put me down this molecular hydrogen rabbit hole. Right. And that's one of the things I talk with Mateo about in the summit talk today. That's still free and available. So if you comment summit, we'll send you the link to listen for free. But we talk specifically about mold and about these mitochondrial toxins and how hydrogen actually helps. And Mateo's had people that are using his Axiom, and they're not having to do these harsh detox protocols from mold, or they've done the Shoemaker protocol. They've done some of these protocols and had like little to no results, or felt worse, and they're using the hydrogen and they're healing like tremendous, amazing things. And so it's really wonderful. Some of the stories I'm hearing, he's had people recover from all sorts of cancers. I mean, it's really remarkable.
Cancers, MS, I mean, like, it is fabulous. It is phenomenal. I just get sometimes, I mean, people, you get tagged a lot and stuff, and I get tagged in so many things, and it's beautiful when people just share. So recently I was tagged in one with Axiom and Mateo, and about, again, that exact story about mold, and really not making a ton of progress until the molecular hydrogen. So it's really fabulous to hear these things. And I don't know how, Sarah, I don't know how much you shared with your family's journey, but I just wanted to highlight the fact that it was a struggle for everyone. I mean, I think you're underestimating, or I think you're under describing literally where you guys were at and how life-changing it was to have this tool of molecular hydrogen.
I'm sending out a newsletter tomorrow, actually. So there's a link in my bio to subscribe to my newsletter. But I'm actually, because I've gotten so many questions about mold in my community and just privately, that I'm having a whole like newsletter tomorrow about mold. And I'm sharing the episode where I really did dive into like how bad things got for us. My daughter was accepted at the country's top psychiatric hospital. It's really hard to get in there, like very hard to get in there. But we had adequate video evidence, adequate, photography evidence. And they were like, yes, we will take her for 6 months. But in my heart, I'm like, this is not she's not crazy. She's sick. Like, I'm like, my daughter is sick. She's not crazy. And I'm not going to throw her into a psychiatric ward for 6 months. I have to figure this out. And it was like divine intervention that I was introduced to hydrogen. And so it was an investment, but what was the alternative for us of like sending this 16-year-old girl away to Maryland for 6 months, or let's try this? And because of that, our family got to stay together, and she's here, and she's turning 17 in a few weeks, and we're getting her a bouncy house, and like,
cool.
yeah. And so it's really very powerful. And I share a little bit more about that in my newsletter tomorrow if you're subscribed to that. And Mateo and I also talk about it in today's summit talk as well. So again, Comet Summit, and we'll send you the link so you can watch that for free today. And then also the VIP package, because Carrie and I are doing this really cool Q&A next week on Tuesday that I think will help people, because I know a lot of people, it's so much information in the summit, like it's all 7 days worth of talks, and then again $2,000 worth of courses that you get in the VIP package, and I know people are going to have questions.
Yeah.
Somebody sent in don't do this, people, but my developer, God bless his soul, he gets so many support requests with my Circadian app, because we're a new app, and people are just like having questions about how to use it, and so he gets so many support requests. So God bless, one of our free summit participants had emailed him a list of questions from stuff she had watched in the summit, and I was like, okay,
we need a Q&A then, like, so we'll
come to the Q&A for these. My developer can't answer these questions, which is just for technical issues with the app that you might be having, but people are getting this information and they're like, okay, how do I apply this to me? So that's why we're doing that Q&A on Tuesday for anybody who
quit. Oh, that's so funny.
He hasn't, no, because I pay him.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, but this is fun. Just in terms of like having answered a couple of questions like that here, that's a lot what the Q&A is like. We love to be able to try to make it as specific, because Sarah and I are probably the queens of saying it's nuanced. But when we in a situation like that, in a private Q&A, we really can get into a little bit more situational about when you need to use certain things like yellow tone blue blockers, right? We can be a little bit more specific.
Because it's not, you don't go viral by telling people there's a nuance to things. You go viral by saying, don't ever do this,
So true. So true.
Yeah, I'll take the slow growth over the viral any day, but
unless you post about protein, protein shakes or something, right?
I don't have the stomach for it. I can't do it.
Oh, your viral stuff is just the weirdest stuff that the algorithm picks up.
4 million views. It's never good. It's not, you think as someone that you put something out there and it's going to get 4 million views that it's going to be good. It's not good usually. Typically people are just really angry about this thing, and you're like, no, you misinterpreted what I was saying, and I didn't mean it like that. And
right, I know. It's all good. We don't need viral. We don't need anything to go viral. We just want, we like to educate. That's why we do summits. That's why we do this type of stuff. We like to educate people.
Form. It's so funny. Andrew Huberman just put out like the 30-minute protocols YouTube video, and I'm like, the thing is, you can't condense a lot of stuff into 30 minutes if you really want to educate someone. If you really want them to understand something, 30 minutes isn't really going to be an adequate amount of time. But that's the society that we live in, is everybody wants a sound bite. Everybody wants a 30-minute clip to figure out how to fix their life. And it's just, I wish I could, but it's not that simple. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it can be simple, but there's nuance.
Yeah, that's what we did the summit. We pulled together people who we think, like Dr. Laura Conover with grounding, and world experts on red light therapy, and the things that we think are super, super important for people to understand about health. But then again, even with that and the simplicity of the summit, there's people that still have questions about, well, how do I make this work for me? And so, that's why we're doing the Q&A on Tuesday. And, you and I are always kind of listening, and we create content around the questions that we get. So
we try to. So yeah, I mean, so in terms of blue blocking, listen, the simplest thing to say about blocking blue light is block it from the eyes is more important than the skin. Typically, Blocking it early in the morning before sunrise, after sunset is typically the most important, and it's with orange tone blue blockers. Some people need red. Now, there was a comment up earlier, like, do you need to invest in a more expensive pair?
Yes.
You know, sometimes quality, does go up when you purchase more expensive things. There are companies though that are bringing the price down and still bringing high quality. So Kelly Bento at Soleil, her blue blocking glasses, she has a really good
Oh my
red
God,
and a very
I
deep
can't see.
red.
I will like kill myself if I try to wear those.
Oh no, not those reds. Although I have people with nervous system dysregulation, she's got the darkest reds on the market that you can get.
My
Um,
son loves those. Those are so insanely
they're
red.
so red, and I do have some people who really want, like, their nervous system needs it. They love it. But otherwise, she has a very good pair that kind of bridges the gap between orange and red, that orange and that red, that I love, especially in the winter months when I typically want a darker tone to help block the artificial light at night.
Yeah. I mean, blue blockers, like you said, they're pretty cut and dry. As Soleil, wow. Maybe you can spell that again. Somebody wants to.
Yeah. So soleil, just the French word for sun, soleil, S-O-L, I think it's E-I-L, soleil, soleil well. Yeah, I mean, you can find her on Instagram here, then link up to her website.
And then, I mean, there's Spectra 479s. They have those. You can get those on Amazon. I always tell people, if you're skeptical about blue blockers and you don't want to invest in, I love my Raw Optics. I love my Viva Rays. Those are kind of the more luxury brands, and they're really good. They're
really good.
Very high quality. Those are the two I like, and I've got discount codes in my bio for both of those. But I always tell people, like, look, if you're skeptical about blue blockers, go to Amazon, get Spectra 479s, and just try them on. And most people are like, whoa, I feel so much more relaxed. Like, I didn't realize how revved up I was at night, literally because of the simple things like the lighting in my home and the TV and the phone, the computer, all these things blasting your eyes and your skin, giving you the signal that it's still the middle of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones where it's you don't know until you actually try. And so the Spectra 479s are the ones that my husband and my son really, they grabbed right away because they were easy. Listen, they don't look cute. No. I don't try to look cute at night. I don't care. They don't look cute, so don't expect to look cute, but they can be highly effective. I do find in the winter months though, if I want to watch TV at night, that I want something darker. It's just, we even have our TV on the darkest setting, blah, 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 yada, 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 all the things. And it's just, for me, I just need something a little darker. And Michigan, sun is setting at like 5.
Yeah,
so,
we have 5:30
there,
which is lower. And somebody wanted to know about the EMR. EMR Tech also has blue light blocking glasses. My code Sarah20 they're doing an early Black Friday right now too. I think Chris and I are actually going to go live tomorrow to talk. But
fun.
Another option. You and I have Bond Charge. I think our code is Quantum Pod for 25% off. There's so many options now with blue light blocking glasses. I have to say that my favorites are probably the Raw Optics and the Viva Rays. But those, they're pricey. They're an investment. So and someone just commented that they bought a cheap pair of Spectra 479s on Amazon and it made all the difference for their sleep. So that's what I tell people. Like, if you're skeptical about it, get the cheap pair.
Get the cheap pair. Yeah. I have I know you linked this. I have in my link in my bio, it's my product recommendations guide. All the products I've vetted with discount codes, or you can just go to carriebwellness.com/products. It's all laid out from light to water to EMF blocking stuff. Because frankly, there's a lot of great companies that are starting to develop amazing things. So back in the day, my list was maybe like half a dozen things. And now it's more, which is good because it can reach more people worldwide. It's not just United States shipping. I mean, so feel free to check that out. And this is the time. If you want to make an investment, Black Friday, this is the time to start to make that investment.
Blasting me, like, promote this.
I know.
I'll be putting that in my newsletter. I'm actually thinking about putting together like a Black Friday guide that has all this stuff with the discount codes of all different price ranges. Because people are looking to invest in this sort of thing. And then just speaking of that, like, that VIP Summit package is such a great deal on courses because it's like $2,000 worth of courses for $99. It's got your nervous system and nature course, my leptin 3-day kickstart,
Four
like my
courses of just ours alone. 4 of them are ours alone, and then so many others.
Yeah, we've got it's so much good stuff. So I know everyone's like blasting Black Friday stuff, but that's a really great deal if you want to just invest in some learning. It's
I've encouraged my community to listen to the summit talks and then take notes about what products or things might interest you that now that Black Friday is coming up. So it really is helpful to kind of listen to the talks and be able to maybe think, oh, well, yeah, that sounds like something that resonates with me. A pair of blue blockers, a red light therapy panel, molecular hydrogen, things like that. And now would be the time. This is perfect time if you want to actually invest in something. The courses are accessible for as long as the practitioners' websites are still operational. So I would say make sure if there's downloads and stuff, do it within the next 6 months or so.
Yeah. But mine, I mean, I'm not planning on going anywhere. So
same. Yeah. Take your time with mine.
If you want the link for that, just comment Summit. We'll send you the link for free and the link for the VIP. So Amanda touches on food. Danny does because she talks about blood sugar regulation. Danny talks a lot about food in her talk.
I mean, we do. We value food. We value the hydration aspect of things. We value nervous system. There's a lot on lymphatic drainage, lymphatic flow. So that's Kelly Kennedy. She's like the queen when it comes to that stuff. So it's not just all light. As much as we love to just talk all about light, I think it has a good balance of information that really, truly supports itself. They support each other.
Water too. I mean, there's a lot of practitioners now that are talking about light, and I love it. And I want more and more of it. But water, a lot of people don't have they don't have, I feel like Carrie is honestly a world expert on water. I mean, so much so that you were speaking at Dr. Gerald Pollack, who is literally the father of exclusions on water, the world's expert on water. You were invited to speak at his conference in Portugal. And so, I love everything you teach, and your hydration masterclass, which I've done. I bought it as soon as it came out this year. That's like a $97 value. That alone right there, I would have paid $200 for that with the amount of information you put in there. Because what a lot of people don't understand about hydration is it's not just the water that you drink, and you do a talk on this in the summit as well. It's how well your mitochondria make water and how well your body can actually hold on to water. And this impacts like everything in the entire body. And so again, there's a ton of people talking about light, but then they kind of don't go that step further and understand the cellular hydration, the water, and how that works. It's Dr. Gerald Pollack.
He wrote The Fourth Phase of Water, but has lots of research. It's just, you don't have to buy his book. He's got lots of publications too. Phenomenal. So what I found was that through understanding water, and again, yes, one of my talks on the summit is all about this easy water. And again, one of my gifts for the VIP upgrade is my hydration masterclass. That's my baby. It's all about structured water. I mean, I love that course. But that being said, I finally understood human health through the lens of water, and light intersects with water. But water for me is water is it right there.
Once you start to understand health from that lens of water, I mean, everything makes so much more sense. And even Alec talks about it extensively in his talk, because I had a few of my group members that were like, what's up with this talk with Alec Zeck? I am so confused now, because he goes into terrain theory and kind of explaining all of that. And it is a big jump for a lot of people. It's a big mindset shift. But I think I recommend people, before they even kind of dive into terrain, to understand water.
100%, because then it makes sense.
If you understand the health aspect of water, again, not the water that you drink so much as your body's ability to make it and hold on to it, then you'll understand that work that Alec is doing around terrain theory so much more. It's going to be so much more digestible and understandable. So that's exactly it. The water holds charge. It holds life force, energy, vitality. Your body is inhospitable to pathogens and things like that when you have that charge, that energy, and that life force, that life force vitality. It's just pathogens,
it kind of is
parasites,
mycotoxins. Exactly.
And
So
people still don't understand that. And that's what I really want. That's one of the biggest things I want people to understand.
I do too.
Because it
Which is
will cut down on so much of the fear that's out there. There's so much fear.
totally.
You know, the post I did this morning, someone was sharing it and then posting about how oxalates were like damaging everyone's cells. And I was just like, oh, you don't get my post.
Not if you have exclusions on water.
You don't understand my post. It's okay.
That's
I love you and thank you for sharing my post. But this is not about how oxalates and all these other things are damaging your body. This is about why is your body sensitive to these things in the first place, right?
Right. Well, and this, it goes back to Mateo's talk too. Like if you can do things that support the mitochondria, you're supporting mitochondrial water production. When mitochondria make that water, and that's red light therapy too, right? With Mike. I mean, when mitochondria make that water, it becomes this exclusion zone water in our cells that's charged. And it's called exclusion zone because literally it structures itself to as almost like a preventative barrier to block things that don't belong inside of the cell from getting in the first place. So,
yeah. Mateo's last name, or it's a hydrogen warrior. If you go to my post, my most recent post,
mine too, yeah.
He's tagged under there. He's tagged under Carrie's post, and he's also in the summit talks for today. So you can comment summit, watch his talk for free below this video, and yeah, it's really great, interesting conversation for sure.
It absolutely is. So speaking of, you know, when I was talking about kids, I got to go pick them up. So how do you want to wrap this up, Sarah? You want to give everyone the details one more time?
So one more time, if you've just jumped on live, and I may post this to my YouTube because it was just a really fun chat. Carrie and I have a summit. Day 7 is today. You can still watch the Day 7 talks for free. If you comment summit below this video, we'll send you the links. But we also have a VIP upgrade package that's about $2,000 worth of courses along with all of the recordings, all 7 days. And Carrie and I are doing a live Q&A next Tuesday with anybody who gets that VIP upgrade package. So if you've already got the VIP upgrade package, just be on the lookout on your email. We'll send out some instructions on how to submit questions and the Zoom link and all the good stuff. And we'll send out the recording if you can't come to the talk live. But we're super excited about this, and it's just a really great way if you're looking to learn some stuff before the new year, kind of get things on track before the new year. This is a really great way to do that and just empower you. We are not going to tell you to go and buy a bunch of expensive supplements and do a bunch of extreme stuff. This is like grounding, cellular hydration, the kind that Carrie and I just talked about, nervous system and nature. It's accessible. You know, you don't have to be a millionaire to access the things that we're.
No, the vast majority is free, and you can comment summit. Yeah, it should trigger it to get sent into your inbox or into your DMs. Yeah. Sarah, did you see that the Zaid's talk isn't working?
I'll hop on my laptop right after this and make sure it's uploaded correctly.
Cool. Perfect. All right. Yeah. Thanks for your patience on that, everyone. And Sarah, always great chatting with you. It always makes my day.
All right. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.